For Panthers Paw Print today, we're going to name each our 2 players to watch in Week 1 for the Panthers, and we're going to explain why. Because I overthink it and I make things difficult for myself, I refrained from picking Bryce Young.
Likewise.
Also because players to watch, like, you don't have to choose to watch Bryce. He's going to have the ball every offensive play. Like, you're going to be watching him regardless. So I have 2 other names, both on the offense. Considered a few defensive players, went offense. I'll give you my first name, Ikem Ekwonu.
All right.
This, to me, Ikem Ekwonu, left tackle, former top 10 pick, NC State guy, left tackle. The season kind of, like, he's the pivot point. He's the fulcrum. He's the middle of the seesaw, the teeter-totter. He's the hinge. If he plays well, I think you can expect dramatic, noticeable, improved play from the offense. If he does not play well, particularly in pass protection, you're going to have to strain to see the improvement. Not saying the improvement won't be there, particularly at other positions, but you're going to have to strain to see it. So I'm going to be watching Icky, and I'm going to be watching him not only for, is he lined up on the line of scrimmage, because apparently refs really don't like it when you're half a step off if you watched the game last night. But also, how much help are they giving him? Are you getting a running back chip every single play? Can he handle the one-on-ones against good edge rushers? When he's lined up with Cam Jordan, is he getting smoked? Is Bryce Young having to escape the pocket because he's allowing pressure even if it doesn't lead to a sack? Ikem Ekwonu, I'm watching you. All eyes on the left tackle.
All right. I am going Derrick Brown as my first player to watch. And the reason why I say Derrick Brown is that watching last night the Chiefs and the Ravens, and this is actually players we talked about yesterday, Chris Jones, defensive tackle, defensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Nnamdi Madubuike for the Baltimore Ravens. Those guys were disruptive in multiple ways. I think, to me, for Derrick Brown to take the next step, when I saw Chris Jones last night for Kansas City, I'm like, that's everything that you hope Derrick Brown fully becomes. We know Derrick Brown's great against the run. The guy racks up tackles. Can he also make more splash plays? Can he get more sacks, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, maybe knock down a couple more passes at the line of scrimmage? If he starts adding those other big plays to what he's already producing, he immediately just elevates himself into the next level of a player that I think that he is capable of reaching. I think he's absolutely capable of reaching that level. I mean, he's already the best run defender you can say in the NFL in terms of interior defensive line. If he can add to even part of the pass rush, we saw Chris Jones yesterday get a sack, forced fumble that caused a turnover that led to points for Kansas City eventually. We want to see Derrick Brown make more of those plays. Can he take that next step?
I'll make 2 additional points. One is the throw where Lamar missed Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Which in the post game he actually said he was throwing it to Rashad Bateman.
It's in the fourth quarter late.
Fourth quarter, big game, big play. Zay Flowers was wide open, airmailed it out of bounds. Somehow, some way, the Chiefs got Chris Jones one-on-one, no help with Justice Hill, the pass-catching running back.
Yeah. How does that happen?
Lamar, because of that, was in the pocket doing like the when you're playing tag as a kid and the it is on the other side of like a big oak tree, and you know where you're doing like the left, right, left, popping your head out to see where he is and just keeping that tree between you. Lamar had to help Justice Hill, which had to throw off the rhythm, had to throw off the rotation, had to take his attention away from downfield for a second, may have led to that incompletion. So Chris Jones impacting the game.
Yep.
You want to see that from Derrick Brown.
Absolutely.
What I will say is this. They can be almost the inverse of each other. Meaning Chris Jones, you probably get 65% of his impact from pass play downs and 35% of his impact from being a really, really good run defender. With Derrick Brown, that's probably flipped. You're probably getting 65% of his impact from being the best run defender in interior defensive line. And then you just need 35% of his impact to be on pass downs, collapsing the pocket, getting after the quarterback. I don't think you need, I'm pretty sure Chris Jones has like a 15 or 16 sack season. I don't think you need.
I think it was 13, last year, I think.
You don't need that kind of sack production from Derrick Brown for him to vault into like all-pro territory.
I mean, unless you're going to do it.
If you get 6 If you get seven and a half sacks from Derrick Brown, I think he's a first-team All-Pro.
Oh, sure.
So I'll be watching that one as well. Next player to watch for me, and we're each going to give 2 here during Panthers Paw Print, Jonathon Mingo.
Oh, okay.
I think Xavier Legette eventually will be out there on 3 wide receiver sets. Jonathon Mingo will be out there now, I believe, in 3 wide receiver sets because Xavier Legette's been hurt, hasn't gotten a chance to prove himself. How much better can Jonathon Mingo show us that he is from last year during this time when he's out there in 3 wide receiver sets? Every question about Bryce and every defense about Bryce also applies to Jonathon Mingo. He wasn't good enough as a rookie. Agreed. For Bryce and Mingo.
Yeah.
Left some plays on the field. Agreed. For Bryce and Mingo.
Mm-hmm.
They also had to deal with 4 different play calling switches. They had to deal with a coach getting fired. They had to deal with a position coach getting fired. They had to deal with an offensive line that couldn't block. They had to deal with subpar. Like, they had to deal with so much. I want to see if Mingo can level up, and then maybe, if and when Xavier Legette, could be this year, could be next year, is ready to jump in 3 wide receiver sets, maybe it's Deontay Johnson, Jonathon Mingo, and Xavier Legette instead of Adam Thielen, particularly if it's later in the year or next year if Deontay Johnson is still around. Because Adam Thielen, as much as we love him, Father Time is undefeated.
Father Time is undefeated. All right, my last one, my second guy. The guy you paid $100 million to for the next 5 years, Robert Hunt. Robert Hunt. This dude is a mauler. And he's entering the prime of his career. We've heard Dave Canales say they want to run the football. And also you want to make sure that, I don't know, your offensive guards don't look like the turnstiles at a metro station like they did last season. There's a reason why you brought that guy in. Robert Hunt. I know you mentioned Ikem Ekwonu protecting the blind side, but if Bryce Young's not getting pressured up the middle like he saw a bunch last year, doesn't have to keep fleeing out of the pocket, hopefully that guy has the 2.7 seconds that we keep hearing for him to throw the football. But I also think it's going to benefit Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders a ton. I think that's really where his impact is going to be made.
And if Bryce can step up, this is where, I like to say the offense is like the human body. Every bone is connected. Hip bone's connected to the knee bone. Mm-hmm. If Robert Hunt is stout and Damian Lewis and Corbett, if the interior is stout and Bryce can step up, that makes Ikem Ekwonu's job easier because now he can run defensive ends. We used to call them cross-country. You can run them cross-country, which means get them up and away, and as long as it's a big circular arc, you can just keep riding them higher and higher, and Bryce will step up, and the pocket becomes a circle where there's somebody behind you, but you have a nice spot in there to chill. What I will say about Robert Hunt, I already used a Will Ferrell reference. I'm going to use an Adam Sandler movie reference.
Okay.
The Longest Yard. When the spy for the guards is describing Nelly's character, he goes, "Oh, he's fast. He makes fast people look
not so fast.
Not so fast."
Yeah.
Robert Hunt is a big dude.
Oh yeah.
And when he's out there with other NFL offensive linemen, he makes big dudes look
not so
big. It's
and he can move too.
It's jarring. Like you see him in a helmets only practice, and it's just like a picture of guys standing around, and you're like, who's the 2 people hiding in that one jersey right there? Like he is broad, his shoulders are broad. I imagine when you're a defensive tackle and you're lined up and you're all right, here's my guy. That's not a fun task to handle. Last part, I got so much stuff about this team. I've been talking about Tua Tagovailoa in Miami and how he and Bryce do have some similarities. Same college, both not the tallest guy in the world, both not the strongest arm in the world, but they get it done with accuracy and between their ears when things are going right. Robert Hunt came from Miami.
Yep.
I don't think that's a coincidence. Mm-hmm. I think that's, this is one of the guys that helped Tua unlock, $50 million a year Tua. Let's see if this dude can help unlock, maybe not $50 million, but hey, better than last year Bryce.
Yep.
Let's start baby steps.